Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our weekly Profit Talk. We do this every single week, hence the name weekly, at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time. That is 7:30 if you're on the West Coast, 10:30 on the East Coast. And if you're in the Heartland, it's going to be 9:30 for you. So good morning, everyone. Welcome. This is the second in a four-part series. And the topic for this week is running your medical practice with CFO level clarity. And I'd like to begin here. There are five elements that you can be tracking on a weekly basis. Now, I know that does not include, if you're looking down the slide somewhat, revenue per patient is certainly an important number to know at any one point. But first of all, let's get into um, the top here. You don't technically have a monthly close if your March books are still being quote unquote cleaned up in May. Um, if you've got transactions sitting out that have not been coded and are categorized properly, then you basically have incomplete information, and that needs to be updated on a regular basis. So a real close produces a finalized profit and loss as well as balance sheet. And I didn't say here, but also a statement of cash flows is extremely vital to have within 10 business days a month end. It's possible to do. If your bookkeeper is on the ball, you really should have everything categorized in well within 10 days. So now the five elements are revenue booked, collections received, payroll as a percentage of revenue. Now, you don't have to do that one every single week. If you pay monthly or semi-monthly, by the way, I want to insert a quick comment here. A lot of people find it friendly or nice or thoughtful or whatever to pay people every other Friday so that they've got an expectation of money every 14 days. That's a nice thing to do, but as a business owner, and that's what you are, you're basically a medical doctor, it's a physician entrepreneur. You are going to create 2 months out of the 12 that have three pay events, and you're no longer basically able to compare uh, monthly cycles side by side and with an accurate basis. I highly recommend, if you don't want to pay once a month, to do it semi-monthly, i.e., the 15th of the month and the last business day. So, in this way, you always have two paydays every month, 24 paydays total. That's my little soapbox speech, and I'm done with that. So, days in AR, super important. We're hopeful that you're somewhere around 53. If you're less, you're golden. If you're over 60, you're starting to get into the danger zone of collectability. And of course, cash on hand. Take a look at these every week on Monday. Should take you less than 10 minutes, right? So moving on. Forward-looking P&L and cash projections. Of course, that means profit and loss. And profit and loss is simply the money that you take in, section one, the money that you pay on labor, which is your cost of staffing, as well as if you create any products that you sell. And that creates a result called a gross profit, under which all of your other selling and administrative expenses occur. Your advertising, your rents, your utilities, consumables, those sort of things. And at the bottom of that entire sheet is a line called net income, and that's the money that you're making each month. And that closes out with every cycle. Now, cash, well, I'll get in that in a second. So, your year-to-date profit and loss tells you what happened already. It's a history lesson. A projection will tell you where you're headed. A good projection can go as much as 12 months out. It should be updated monthly, and it should also flex based on scheduled procedures, provider capacity, and known expense changes. You know, in the course of 12 months, things are going to change. You'll have perhaps a little bit of attrition. Somebody leaves or moves out of state, that sort of thing, or you decide to expand your services and create new positions for higher level staff, that sort of thing. Um, when you know that's going to happen in the future, you can place that into a forward-looking budget, and 12 months is ideal. Now let's get to cash. First of all, checking your bank balance is not a cash forecast. It's just basically, I've got money, I spend money. But if you do that, you're in real danger of coming up non-sufficient funds on a future charge. Um, and also, I'd like to add to that that the draws that you take out of your business, you should not. As a matter of fact, you let me put it in firmer terms. You cannot exceed um, you cannot exceed your net income with your draws. In other words, if you had a particular month where you had $22,000 in net income, do not take more than $22,000 out of your business. You're in danger of paying a second tax called excess distributions. And yeah, that's taxable. So, um, a real forecast shows you the next 91 days. That's kind of my little trademark I'm starting because that's exactly 13 weeks. Um, Receipts, disbursements, payroll cycles, tax payments, and loan obligations. And I left draws out of that, but that should definitely be included. You are entitled to enjoy the money that you make, but don't take too much. And one of the things that I see too is if you are using credit card debt as expense leverage, that actually goes against your net income, but it also creates a situation where you're basically using more cash than the business is making. So, um, if you have a higher credit card balance than you're able to pay each month with your statement balance as a statement balance, then you need to work on getting that paid down to where you're paying the statement balance each month. You should never pay a dime of interest. Okay. And when you can see this clearly for 13 weeks out, you simply make better decisions. Scenario modeling for the decisions that actually matter. Should you hire another provider? Should you buy or lease that piece of equipment? Should you open a second location? Should you restructure your compensation before year end? And, it's important to keep good people happy. And there is such a thing as a cost of living increase. It's basically going on all the time. Um, so this is something that merits real consideration. CFO level clarity doesn't just track the past, it runs the numbers on the futures you're considering. You don't decide, you model, and then you decide. So you're making decisions based on data and not on emotion. So hopefully you found this helpful. This is the second of a four-part series. We're going to talk about some of the blind spots that might be in your practice next week. And then we'll wrap up with what it looks like to actually work with a fractional CFO, what it costs. You may be surprised how cost effective it is and the return on investment. So um, I hope you found this helpful and that you're having an excellent day so far and have an amazing rest of your Wednesday and remainder of your week. And if you have a chance today, do something randomly kind for a stranger. So until next week, we'll see you at 8:30 a.m.